Have here, which makes sense because he is a very strong champion right now. Even though he did get nerfed a little bit this patch, he is still very, very good champion to pick right now.
Yes, he is. We saw Rush do some pretty good things in IEM Cologne. If you haven't watched the series yet between Cloud9 and H2K, I recommend you do. It was pretty good to watch. So Jungle Mundo still definitely very viable, very scale heavy. Uh, he's gotten a bit of an abusable early game due to slowish clear, but apart from that, once he gets mid game and he gets a few items under his belt, he just becomes this unstoppable, unkillable. Mundo goes where he pleases, bot.
So. Speaking of that, because there's no bans coming out from Team Arbok, we have Lulu and Morgana being picked up right here. Now, so far, this is actually a very good draft coming out from Team Sigh because you have the Lulu, very strong, versatile pick with all the utility, really good at keeping people alive. And can you imagine a Mundo with Whimsy running at you? Like, let's be real here. That's actually a really scary thing to think about.
With Black Shield?
Yeah, Black Shield too. So then you can't even like do anything to stop him. And that's just talking about Mundo because we don't even know what their carry threats even are yet because we don't even know this is even like a Morgana top or mid just yet. So then imagine if they like rounded out their combo in terms of damage output with like a Victor Jinx or something. Like we don't know. We'll have to find out soon. Like I just think that this is gonna be hell for something like a team that has Vayne and Blitzcrank to fight against because don't want to pull Morgana because that's a free soul shackles. Don't want to pull Mundo because that just makes his life easier. And then Vayne is just gonna have a hard time against all these things because she has such short range. Can't really do much because Lulu has polymorph, soul shackles from the Morgana, and then while she does have good damage output against Mundo, it's still gonna be very difficult for her to do that, taking all these other things into consideration. And we have Vi and Hecarim being picked up right here.
So, despite the, I have to completely agree with you. Right now, just based on draft alone, I'm really liking Team Size comp. And yes, granted, Team Arbok did not have bans available. That being said, to allow both, or I suppose Mundo was first pick, but to allow Lulu to go through, that either means to me that they didn't think about it, or that they value some other mid pick way more. Because I know Sprinkles for a fact. Sprinkles, mind you all, is supporting. He's not playing top lane at all. He's not allowed to touch the top lane. He's going to be in the support role for this entire series. So obviously he would not play the support Lulu because he does not play any female champions. If you're interested, go ask him yourself. But I'm supposing that SNR did not want to play Lulu either, which means that he has some type of carry champion in mind because, well, this is going to be a tough team to go up against in the late game.
All I know is that, as I was talking about from before, they do round out the damage a little bit with Gnar Tristana. You have Gnar for a bit more early to mid game damage output with his when he gets the Black Cleaver, and then you have Tristana with the decent early and late game. Her mid game isn't like all that as great, but it's the early and late game, so they have some late game assurance in the form of Tristana. Because when you think about it, if you're running Morgana and Lulu, you want to have some late game hyper carry to go along with that. And if you want one that's also even safer to begin with without them, Tristana is a perfect pick for you right there. It also has a good matchup into the Vayne. And then we have Brand being picked up last as a high damage mid lane source. He's a little immobile, so I'm going to be a little fearful for him in terms of fighting against a Mundo that has Black Shield and Whimsy on him, or maybe just Whimsy alone.
Yeah.
Like, granted, as Brandon's going to be getting in the Rylai, so the slow is going to be somewhat helpful. I don't think it's going to be enough, especially against a Mundo that against a team comp where, yeah, they do have 3 sources of Grievous Wounds with the Ignite, but that's if they have it up for when the fights happen. So hopefully they make sure to keep track of having that Ignite because you really want those Grievous Wounds against Mundo.
In terms of Tristana's Caitlyn-esque mid-game, like, what would you call the opposite of a power spike? Power fall?
I would say a power trough where it's like that hump where you have to like get over that so that you can start doing well. Because I think one of Tristana's problems when it comes to her damage output itself is that if her E is on cooldown, she doesn't really do much damage after that. And even if the E is up, it's only just single target damage. Like, granted, you might get the AoE damage from the E if your target is like near other people as well. But for the most part, it's mostly single target damage. And then when the E is on cooldown, you have that downtime in terms of your damage output.
But what we've been seeing in professional play at these, for example, the IEMs, All-Stars, is that what teams are doing is they avoid or they expedite, let's say, this power trough in Tristana by just grouping, right? Grouping
Mhm.
incredibly early and just pushing turrets, because regardless of the state of the game is in, mid game, early game, late game, Tristan is always going to be good at that one thing, right?
Yeah,
Pushing
that's
turrets.
always very
So
that's very true. They
yeah,
cover up for the fact that her team fight damage isn't all that great by just taking the turrets, which is very good, especially since structures are very highly valued right here in terms of the preseason changes. Because since the games are a bit short, Dragon isn't worth that much for the most part at the moment, unless you got it at like the 5 minute mark. So it's all about whether or not you can get Rift Herald, potentially have a lane push up with it. Maybe you get a Baron or two, and then the structures what give you your goalie. If you're not snowballing from kills, structures are what give you your goalie just off of the massive global goal from it alone. And then from there you take the champions that you pick and their relative power spikes into account as well.
and I think that by taking more turrets, you're increasing your vision game, and it's so important to the vision, and I'll explain why. So when you take a turret, right, your minions are going to start pushing deeper into the lane. So that means that just by default, your minion vision is going to give you more coverage of the map. But in addition to that, with the loss of a charge on Sightstone and with the removal of green wards, supports have to pick up more pink wards. Yes, granted, they're cheaper, but still, they're buying more pink wards early on and throughout the game. And they have to go back more often to refill their Sightstone. Now, going back more often means that they're not getting the gold that they need from their passive gold generation element, unless it's the coin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even then, you're still missing out on the mastery. So by supports being essentially kidney shotted, right, in regards to the amount of gold that they're getting just kind of like robbed of their gold. Taking towers is even more important because that global gold is going to fill the pockets most valuably of your support, which gives the support more gold to play around with buying more wards, right? And that alleviates, in a sense, that alleviates that sort of issue. It's not a complete fix, of course, as always, until Sightstone gets its charges reverted or they change to something else. There's going to be less wards on the map, but it helps a lot. If your team isn't taking turrets, then the support on your side is going to feel very gold starved, and it's very obvious.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that gold generation too, because in the preseason patch there was it was like a little ninja change they made where they said it, but it wasn't really emphasized all that much. Where they made it so that the two people on each team, I think, with the least amount of gold, get a slightly increased gold generation. Is a really weird change I find with that they made with that.
I'm wondering if they're going to go back on any of their changes in terms of the gold or the vision, or they like the way it is right now. Personally,
Honestly, I feel when it comes to the vision change, I think one thing they should do is increase the amount of pink boards that one person can have on the map from 1 to 2. I think it's very, very good to do that because this is a pink board, it's easy to kill because the enemy team can see it.
I think
And
they're
then
at
it's
the
like
nerf.
when you have like so little vision alone, I feel that each person needs to have at least 2 pinks on the map just to help with like vision control. And then when you think about it, in terms of what you see people running for their trinkets right now, in terms of what every team has, is usually three blue orbs and 2 sleeping lenses. And then the 2 sleeping lenses are on the support and the jungle, who usually have Sightstone. So it makes sense in that regard.
I think if they were going to let you have 2 pink wards out, it would either need to reduce the health of it, reduce the range of it,
Yeah, I can agree with
and
that. Reduce the health of it from 5 to 3.
yeah, and maybe increase the cost by 25.
Yeah, I can see
Because
that. That would be fair.
I can see 10 pink wards being ridiculous. You could cover basically every single side of the Baron pit in pink wards, and there'd just be no possible way, right, for you to like ever obtain vision again unless you get a fight. But then you'd be fighting into a blind.
Yeah, but then from there, since you have the blue orbs, you can just kind of like slowly push them out, kill the pink orbs. You see what I mean, though, right? Because it's like with pink orbs, it's like pink orbs are good on the place where you have like the most pressure at, like because they can't like just go right into it because the pink orbs deny all vision in that area.
Regardless, folks, we're about to get underway as we load into the rift. It is going to be on the blue side, team side. It's going to be in the top lane, TS Sloth. In the jungle, TS Lust, looking to make his debut on his Mundo. Maybe he's going to be as impressive as his previous games on Nautilus. We'll have to find out. AD carry, TS Strath, and support YOLO Gucci Swag. And just in case, it's Team TS Sloth in the mid lane. Whereas on the red side, it's going to be Kogoi in the top lane, in the jungle, NYC Teams. Mid lane is the captain, SNR. AD carry Phoenix Wright, who is a last minute substitute, and Sprinkles, ladies and gentlemen, the god of top lane himself, has joined the fight in the bot lane. A new challenger has approached, coming from Team Arbok, and I'm interested to see how this one's going to play out. That's for sure. The the legendary Sprinkles Blitzcrank is something of legend for this current generation. I'm sure you're all going to be in for quite a treat. As we do have a slight pause, so you disconnected seems from PS Slot. Let's have a look at these team comps, right? So we talked about how Mundo's going to be scaling, right? How the good early and mid game of Lulu is so strong right now in the meta, just because the previous reason why teams were not always willing to take Lulu is because she does fall off late game. However, because games are so much shorter, that doesn't really occur anymore. That doesn't really nobody really takes that into account anymore. Usually because games end between 25 to 35 minutes. But let's have a look at Team Arbok here on the right side, right? We got a Vi, we got a Vayne, and a Hecarim. All three very good scaling champions. Vi, of course, can just stay really, really tanky, and no matter what, she'll always be a threat to the backline with that ultimate assault and battery. We've got the young Blitz. We got the God Hook himself, the Gold Man in charge. Of course, always going to be a pain in the butt. And this Brand. What would you say of Brand's late game? Because for me, I've actually never gotten to that point where I've really noticed. I've always felt like his damage even from the beginning of the game is just ridiculous. But I don't know if he falls off or not. I don't
so in terms of his damage output, there's nothing wrong with it just because when he has rivalized Leandries, like the Leandries itself adds onto his percent damage from his ability power, and then there's his passes that also lets him do percent health damage. So his late game damage is actually not bad, but if you do it to someone that has literally no magic resist, we're talking one spell from Brand is probably going to take them down to either 50% of HP or 25% of HP, at least in my experience with this champion. We're talking 80 carry that gets hit by maybe just a Pillar of Fire. That's probably them going down to 25% HP. It's ridiculous how much damage actually comes out from him in the later stages of the game. And when you think about it, most of that damage is from the ulti too, because he had so many bounces. So that Pyroclasm, the bounces are so underrated in the sense that you can throw that on their front line, and then it's going to bounce all the way from their front line to their back line just because of how the ability works. And it's scary that as someone that's in the back line, you're getting hit by something that you weren't even targeted by in the first place. And then when you take into account it's point click too, so you can't even like dodge. You just have to just not be near it.
Absolutely. We apologize, folks, for the delay. It looks like TS Sloth was having some technical difficulties. We have our very esteemed and very renowned elite tech team working on it. The team, of course, is comprised of 7 dwarves and a rat, and the rat yells at the dwarves to work on it. So they're getting to it. They're trying to refresh TS Sloth's hamster, if you will. Poor little guy must have been tired out from all the running on his little treadmill. So we're going to see if the dwarves and the rat can get back to us on that issue just momentarily. But as we continue discussing between the team comps, I'd like to remind everyone that this is the semifinals. This is the first match. The finals will be tomorrow, both in part due to the semester's ridiculous schedule and because of a late start on the ILO's part. But yes, the finals is going to be tomorrow. It's going to be the winner of this game versus the winner of the next game. Excuse me, the winner of this match versus the winner of the next match. The next match, of course, being, I believe, NYNBW versus Large Winter Dogs. I'd have to double check the schedule, but I believe that's correct. But yes, both of these games, today's matches are best of 3s, and the final tomorrow is best of 5. It's going to be the only best of 5 in the season. But we're super excited to be here. Super excited to finally get things running again and to be enjoying the stream with all of you. And we hope that you enjoy the games and the plays. And we hope that there's going to be plenty of memes to go around. What's a game without a meme, am I right?
All the dank memes, my friend. Very, very dank indeed.
Twitch chat, feel free to get in as involved as you'd love. We're going to need a lot more dank memes, and we're going to be waiting here a while. Granted, I just watched Star Wars last night, and I waited out in the cold for 5 hours. So.
Yeah, I think the funniest thing about that Star Wars is how I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, don't spoil it for me," and I'm just like, "Isn't it like a remake of one of them?" No, because I never seen a Star Wars movie like that much. I've seen like scenes from them, but not a full movie in its entirety. So I know a little bit about the plot, but hey, that's neither here nor there, right?
So the main reason why people would say the movie is a quote unquote remake is just because they do a lot of fan service. That's all. But it's its own movie and it's very very good, and I recommend everyone watch it because it's really really good movie. It's not being hyped or overrated for any reason. It's just that good. Sorry folks for the delay. We're just trying to see what the progress is here. Let me see. Maybe make some contact.
But yeah, getting in here though, I just have to say that it is going to be really hard in terms of team fighting for Arbok to be able to do anything, just because when you look at it, if I tries to ulti someone, you have the Morgana utility of the Black Shield to help them, and also the target that she does ulti, chances are they're probably not going to die because you have a Lulu. Lulu has the shields and the wild growth to help you live against Vi's ultimate damage, which got nerfed actually in a couple of patches ago. It was in one of the later patches in Season 5. And then when you have just short range champions in terms of Vayne and Brand, because they're relatively short range. Brand in a sense is kind of more like short to mid range, but for the most part, it's very, very short range from it. And then we have such a comp that's focused around just diving a backline with Hecarim and Vi, and then you have Blitzcrank just to try and make some sort of pick potential. I feel it's a very unsynergistic comp that won't really do well against team size comp in terms of the 5v5 team fight. Now, granted, it's all for the most part, it goes out the window if they're able to get a lead in the early game, because we've seen that if you get leads in the early game, you can potentially close out the game from there just because of the way this new season works in terms of just snowballing the early game.
I believe TS Rat just told me that they should be good to go, so the game should be unpausing, hopefully, relatively shortly. Again, folks, we apologize for the delay. It's never fun for us. It's never fun for you guys, but it is what it is. It looks like it was a firewall bug, so hopefully the 7 Dwarves and the Rat managed to fix that up, and we'll be going in no time. But tell me about this bot lane matchup here, Sean, between Tristana and Vayne. What would you say about early power spikes and how does it work? I would say I would give the advantage to Tristana just because the Bork is more expensive and it's not as permanent as it used to be on the side. Also, what are you building on Tristana? What are you building now? Do you rush rapid fire cannon? Do you go BF sword and then go the rapid fire?
Oh, it's you do BF sword pickaxe and then you do the rapid fire after. It's weird just because the money that you spend to upgrade your BF and pickaxe to an Infinity Edge is better worth spending it on just getting the some rapid fire components.
Gotcha. Please unpause. Nah. Holy whack-a-mole. Ladies and gentlemen, the 7 Dwarves and the Rat did it. We are back into the game. We have finally loaded onto the rift. We apologize for the delay. All the trinkets are being bought. All the biscuits are being baked, and we're going to be getting out into the field in no time. I would expect to see Team Sigh here immediately rushing towards their pings on the bottom side brush as they are looking to invade. They've got the young hit squad. Everyone, is everyone wearing a skin? I am proud. I am proud of this team Arbok.
So yeah, Sigh, it's one of the better things to invade because you do have the Blitzcrank on your team, and it does offer that increased pick potential.
A good early ward is going to stop this invade, or at the very least, alert. Team Sigh to the invade. Let's see if Sprinkles on his new role here can live up to his name. Can show potential in a new position. As he valiantly charges and leads the wonderful Wizard of Oz crew on a majestic journey throughout the jungle. I'm interested to see if they stay long enough to divert TS Lust's jungle start away from the bot side, and instead he would rather opt to start top on the blue side, top blue side, which looks like it might be the case. So I'm interested to see how the jungle routes are going to pan out and which direction each of them are going to head. But item buys across the board, pretty typical, except for the corrupting potion on Hecarim. Now, you used to always be able to take Flask on Hecarim with a bunch of pots and it would work, just because the sustain is so good. However, in a matchup basically in a counter matchup such as this, I'm not a fan of the corrupting potion, just because even though it is the more sustained route, you'll find yourself having to chug through it very, very quickly. Hecarim isn't really a champion with the most effective means of gap closing, right?
Right, not to mention that they did a lot of nerfs in the past. If you ever read up on it, I don't think they actually ever buffed Hecarim in a sense, because a lot of it has been nerfs on either his laning phase or just his synergy with home guards and teleport.
And I think one of the biggest ones that's underrated is the change to his warpath, his passive. Now it no longer avoids unit collision. That's only when he's using devastating charge. Ooh, good last minute flash shield there to avoid the hook.
Right, that's one of the strengths actually about Tristana Morgana as a bottom lane, in the sense that they're both very safe. Try to go on Tristana, has a rocket jump, massive 900 range jump. Try to go on Morgana, black shield, keeps her safe if you can't break the shield. Oh, she's gonna be safe for the most part too, just because they negate whatever CC effect you try to throw on her. So it's very, very safe in that regard. And when you think of it, both those champions are very good against Vayne Blitz, just because Blitz, if he tries to hook someone, can't quite find that target. And from there, Tristana can just out-trade Vayne with the explosive shot damage, which, by the way, explodes instantly now once you reach maximum stacks.
That was a nice change. Very quality of life type of thing.
And then another change that I find very, very interesting is that for the rocket jump, if you reach max stacks with a explosive shot, it resets your rocket jump's cooldown.
Is that a fact? I did not know.
Yeah. So what you can do, you can actually like double jump, like before you get a kill, you can actually double jump where you have your E stacks on them, jump in on them. You get your max E stacks, you explode, and you get to jump again. And like I said, you don't have to even kill them. It's crazy mobility. That's like 1800 range. In terms of like just how much distance you covered.
Well, that is a really far jump. But I like to point out the difference between the two junglers. NYC Tunes and TS Lust, both level 3. NYC Tunes, full health, trying to get a gank off, but currently wasting his time. However, the keynote is that TS Lust was already forced to sleep back, right? Whereas NYC Tunes didn't even need to use a potion, so there's just a vast disparity between the two junglers early. However, NYC Tunes currently wasting that early game advantage, trying to get a gank onto his Lulu, but sitting on a ward without realizing it. Meanwhile, TS Lust already went back, already picked up the Tracker's Knife, is already going to be supplying vision for his team. And he's going to be able to continue farming as Sprinkles eats that Dark Binding to the face. Doesn't even return fire with the... Oh! The Sidewinder hook. Just narrowly misses. Regardless, Black Shield. TS Fab is going to be okay.
Now, one thing interesting, though, about this is that the cooldowns on both abilities for both the Black Shield and the Rocket Grab are about roughly the same for the most part. It's like 20 seconds.
This isn't, for example, the likes of a Thresh lane, where if you land your death sentence on another champion, it reduces the cooldown.
Yeah, it could just go about like 3 seconds.
That's a nice advantage of Thresh, right? Is that you can land a hook, and even if she Black Shields it, that's fine, because your hook will come back up before the Black Shield again. Gives you an opportunity for out.
Right, and that doesn't even factor in how much CDR you get along Thresh's build path too, like as the game goes on. 45% CDR Thresh, man.
I'd have to try with this. That's a lot of fun. Ooh, boy. Getting the devastating charge off. Going to continue to auto attack TS Greed. TS Greed, on the other hand, doing
Ooh, you got the slow up, but can't quite get the third proc on that just yet. You got the third proc. That'd been a really, really strong trade for him.
I think if he had his EF, he should have done it, but I was. Truth be told.
Oh, here's the all-in from the heck room. He does miss his boomerang though, so you can't quite use it again just yet.
As soon as TS Greed hits 6, I think this matchup just becomes basically unwinnable for the Hecarim. The only way the Hecarim would stand a chance post 6 is basically you completely all in the Gnar when he is not anywhere near rage, right? Like, let's say he just exited out of Mega Gnar.
Right, that's your window of opportunity to fight him.
Because
just because he doesn't have access to the CC abilities, along with the extra stats in Mega Gnar too.
Anytime he's near Mega Gnar, even if he can't win the fight, he'll just stun you and walk away, right? So.
Right, this is the Merc Trez rush too, so has some tenacity against those CC.
But he does not have armor, so he's still going to be eating the full damage of all of Gnar's abilities.
But this does make it a little bit hard for the Gnar to kite just because we like factor in move speed.
Thank you.
Unless the Gnar gets the phage on the early back, in which case that'll help him a bit.
I'm thinking against this team comp if maybe Frozen Mallet would be better for the Gnar. The Phage would overall just increase his durability and his damage in lane, but the Frozen Heart would provide even more utility and even more.
Wait, Frozen Heart? You mean Frozen Mallet?
Sorry, Frozen
Yeah, Frozen Mallet. Okay, yeah.
Seven and a half minutes on the clock, though. The gold is dead even as both junglers have yet to really find each other and make any type of contact. The top laners, for the most part, completely even. Mid lane, completely even. 80 carry, Phoenix right, just about an 8 CS gold lead. So
we see that this is the potential Infinity Edge into Rapid Fire Cannon on the Vayne. That's the popular 2-item power spike I've been seeing. The laning is quite atrocious for it though, just because you don't have any sustain, and Vayne is very reliant upon that sustain. She's fighting against a very hard lane matchup.
How would they? Because I think Bork right now isn't really being played with much at all, and so what would they need to change? Do you think just reduce the cost of Bork or increase its power?
Oh, we have the Vi coming in, but the Morgana Black Shield and the Wild Growth and another shield keeps Sop safe from all the damage, but the Hecarim doesn't keep her safe at all, and he falls too as Gnar TP's in as well. Blitzcrank, a little two-way to the party on the mid lane, takes a cleaver to the face.
But goes wide, and it's so far a 2-for-1 in the favor of Team Sigh. TS Rash getting the first blood and the second kill. He's going to be sitting on it.
Oh, he tried to finish off YOLO there with the overdrive. Oh wait, what is it? What is the name of his ultimate again? Blitzcrank's?
Static Field?
Static Field?
Yeah, overdrive is a W.
Yeah.
Is Rocket Punch the Power Fist?
But yeah, it's one thing I was talking about you right there, right? Where if Divide tries to use the ultimate, the Black Shield keeps that target safe, and he gets grabbed over here, but he has to force a blow of flash with the Vayne movement speed along with the static field, but Tristana keeps her safe with the Buster Shot.
Did he have flash? He killed?
Yeah, he had to flash.
He's right. He had ultimate and he had flash available. Would he have been able to kill Mundo? Because they knew Mundo didn't have ult. Or they should have known.
Man, now they're looking to start this dragon after getting Mundo out of the pit. But this could be a potential. No, couldn't quite get the steal with the cleaver. Would have been funny if he did, though.
I would have laughed pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie. Is this grass for the Undying Gnar? I'm noticing, or is that the Hecarim? I really can't tell.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell. I hope that they make that change like next patch week to see what keystones everyone has.
If it's we should submit that request to Riot. I'm sure they must have people working on it already, right? That'd be ridiculous of me. But Grasping and dying, I can see it. It definitely has its uses, especially if you saw the 1v1 tournament in All Stars. It was the most commonly taken team master, but it's not the most effective, I suppose.
I'm surprised we don't have 10 Thunderlords this game, but we have Blitzcrank trying to go for Rock Grab, and it does land, but the Black Shield keeps... Actually, she's not safe as all, as Bane flashes away, but falls to the Dark Binding with TS Loft coming in with a teleport to help finish off the job, and there's a little tussle happening in the top lane where TS Greed gets the third proc, some move speed, trying to catch up onto Kagoi, who gets slowed again. This could be the end of him, but TS Greed isn't going to be too greedy for this one.
Greed has jump now, so I think he can do it. I would jump.
I think he's probably going to try to wait for a Mega Nard transformation.
Exactly. You get the transformation, right?
But we have Vi actually coming up, I think. Actually, no, she's along the river along with the brand, so this could be a potential 3-man game. But no, actually, we have the pink for the Rift Herald coming out. Yeah, as Kagoi is going to be recalling. Kagoi has his TP available in a very short time from now. But there is no pink for the Herald, and they just back off as TS Greed is just trying to get out this last bit of CS.
12 minutes on the clock, and since we last checked in 5 minutes ago, it is now a 1,000 gold lead. Almost surprising, to be honest. Only a 1,000 gold lead in the favor of Team Sigh, and that's with, mind you, that is with TS Wrath getting first blood as well. So, very interesting.
So I find it interesting that I believe this Tristana might actually get Runon's Hurricane. She does have the recurve bow.
It could be for Bork, maybe?
I don't know, because then that would just be like a weird build path if you try to go like IE into Bork. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's actually Runon's.
How interesting.
I don't think it synergizes that well with what she's trying to do, unless maybe you're just trying to like hoping for a reset off of the additional AoE crits. I don't know, I feel like Rapid Fire Cannon is just much stronger on her. Oh, and we see a fight happening right here between the mid and jungle, and it's the brand leashes a pyroclasm, but he falls as well with the TP being channeled by Kagoi, who's trying to come in, gets the onslaught of shadows, a 2-man fear, as Vi 1v1's Lust, but Vi falls down as Sloth is trying to wonder where his team is trying to help him, but it seems that Lust and Greed can potentially just clean us up, as we have YOLO coming in with the Mrs. Dark Binding, but Nose A is not even needed, and Kagoi goes down as well.
DM, TS Greed just leaping on top of Hecron for the kill there. And popping. Ooh, he's gonna be telling behind.
Ooh, yeah, explosive shot on the minion.
He has Mega Nard, he has Flash.
Grad doesn't have explosive shot available now, but the Mega Nard ulti gets Vayne stunned into a wall along with the W coming out as well. And Vayne, Phoenix Wright goes down as Wrath rocket jumps forward, but Sprinkles is just safe. As he sees that he doesn't want none of what just happened to Phoenix Wright. But yeah, we're gonna see that they're gonna try to do their best to take that tier 1 bot tower with the death of Phoenix Wright. And with that, that'll be actually the first outer tower taken this game.
This game, I'm not sure how, but it's giving me a very slow vibe so far. It's been very low action, low key. Not a whole lot going on.
Oh, we have Sloth flashing forward, getting the cleaver slow off, and forces. Oh, the flash doesn't even matter as SNR falls as well.
I'm actually very surprised he died there. Was that just a briefcase and Borderlands?
It was briefcase and I think what Sloth did was that I think he put his E like help picks on a minion, and then he used Glitter Lance, which finished him off.
Oh wow.
Because that's the thing where Pix is, Glitter Lance comes out from where Pix is. But yeah, Dragon's gonna be spawning in 40 seconds as Team Sigh is gonna be prepping to try and take as a clear some division out from the pit. And they also have control of Skullcrest. That's also gonna be very good for them in terms of just a movement speed wise. And we have no teleports from the top lane, so it's just going to be a 4v4 contestant for the Dragon if they do decide to contest the Dragon.
9-3 on the board.
Oh, Sprinkle's trying to get this roam off, but that whimsy movement speed just keeping Laslock very, very safe. Yeah, that's one of the powers of Lulu, how strong Whimsy is, especially since the movement speed scales with how much ability power that she has. We're talking come mid game, maybe a 57% move speed boost onto whoever she wishes. Can you imagine that though? Like either a Mundo running at you with Whimsy or a Morgana running at you with Whimsy. Even a Nara Whimsy is actually scary too.
Pretty sure a lot of things running as fast as that would scare me too.
You know, and when you combine the fact that they also have the Twin Shadows active from the Frost Queen's claim. So we're talking really strong pick potential with this team, with the combined slows and the movement speed that they're running.
SNR, however, looks like he's not going to be going for that crossfit. Not since he picked up a needlessly, at least. We're going to be seeing Kogoi and NYC Tunes just kind of going, TS Greed going back and forth in the top lane. The farm advantage still actually in favor of Kogoi, but only slightly. Meanwhile, jungle, there's now a somewhat significant difference between the two. NYC Tunes behind by a good 14 to 15 margin. As Kogoi eats yet another boomerang. Something I do want to mention is that TS Greed did go for that. Excuse me, but the Frozen Mallet build.
Yeah, speaking of the builds, as I mentioned before, there's a Zeal on that Tristana, so that's going to be the Runon's Hurricane with the Infinity Edge, and then we have the finished Shiv on the Vayne. I feel like Rapid Fire Cannon would have been better for the Vayne just because, well, Shiv does give you that wave clear, but granted, as Vayne you want damage, not much wave clear in a sense, and the Rapid Fire Cannon offers you just a lot more range for you to abuse. Almost more damage to champions too, actually, because they nerf Shiv's damage to champions.
Kogoi looks like he's going to be building into that Triforce after Merc Treads, but I'm not a really big fan of it, not a big proponent, just because it leaves you so squishy in a lane that you're already being abused in. So why continue to make yourself even more squishier? I would have probably suggested buying armor first, just to be able to survive the Nara's harassment, as NYC Tunes takes so much damage. We'll be going down after the Dark Binding. Completely underestimated the damage coming from the team. Also neglecting to flash or use his Q. As we do see
we have
so
the
much
Sun
damage.
landing onto TS Wrap as a 4-man. Oh, actually, it's only a 3-man onslaught. Shadows with Yellow getting grabbed, getting finished off by a tower shot. As Mundo looking to tank some damage, takes a little bit, and the brand passive finishing off TS Wrap. That's not anything to be underestimated, especially since this is a brand who, when he recalls now, he's going to have a finished Rylai's Crystal Scepter, and that's one of his major power spikes, just because the slows from the Rylai just makes it so much easier for him to land the rest of his abilities. Along with the fact that it's just so obnoxious in terms of team fight when you get hit by one of Brand's spells, the Rylai slow kicks in, and then you just literally like a saying that for the most part because so much damage is ticking on you from his passive as well.
19.5 minutes on the clock, ladies and gentlemen. 11-5, about a 4,000 gold lead in the favorite team side, and yet 11-5, right? 16 deaths, and yet I still don't really feel as if there's been a lot of action. How do you feel about the game and the pacing?
So I feel we have the flash being pulled by Phoenix, right? The Ganem doesn't even get the stun, but Kogoi comes in with the teleport, with a teleport coming from TS Slaw. This is a 3-3 fight with Mundo, getting kited, gets hit with the Wild Growth as Gnar gets the stun onto Phoenix right. Phoenix right goes down, and Sprinkles goes down as well, followed by Kogoi slowly joining his team in death, and that is a triple kill. Going over to TS Sloth on that Lulu.
Gotta ban Lulu, man.
All right, you also got to take into account the teleport pressure. Just because one team has only one teleport, the other team has two teleports, and they're turning that triple kill into a free Baron. This is a 14-5 game round. If they do secure this Baron, see, Toons doesn't even realize this Baron is even happening. So if you were to try to steal it, it would be good for his team. But to see he's not trying to steal it, and they have no idea this is happening, it's gonna be a free Baron going over to Team Sigh right here, and they can transfer that Baron into a lot of structures that they need right now to help snowball their mid-game lead. Right now, we're talking getting all the tier 2 towers. That's what we were talking about with this rotation. But yeah, as I was talking about before, the teleport pressure, we have two teleports versus one teleport. You have to keep tracks of the teleport cooldowns on those two members, or else if you're trying to do fights like this where you have your top laner TPing, you're gonna be like, hey, why is their mid laner TPing all of a sudden, right? You know, you gotta keep track of these things. That's something that you have to communicate well as a team. Some of their spell cooldowns are very, very important to manage, and we have Mundo saying hello of a cleaver.
You also need to imagine, right, that pretty much for the most part, you're always going to be fighting at a disadvantage if you're the team with one teleport, because the other team can always either respond to it with an equal amount of players or respond with even more players.
Right. So that's why you have to just take that into account if you're even doing these fights in the first place, or bring up global pressure of your own, of course.
Of course. But SNR, for the lane bullying reasons, decides to go with the Ignite nonetheless. Currently about 20 CS behind, and nobody is in charge of defending this turret on the side of Team Arbok. This in the turret on the bot lane is just going to go down for basically nothing. TS Greed in the top lane does not have teleport, so you must keep that in mind. I would expect Team Sigh here to just sit outside this inhibitor turret here and just siege the turret with the super empowered cannon minions, and just siege the turret down and allow time for TS Greed to continue pushing that top lane. A bit of an emptiness though coming from the side of Team Arbok. They're looking for an engage. They're looking for a way in, but Team Sigh, identifying that play pattern, immediately begins to back up. Immediately understands, okay, we don't need to do anything rash here. We don't need to dive. We don't need to do anything. Just all we really need to do is let TS Greed continue to split top and just buy time for him. And that's exactly what they did. He managed to take out an Ninja turret and half of an inhibitor turret.
Right, not to mention that with this 1-4 split push happening right here with the Baron minions, you can't even wait clear down. It's just so hard. And then you had Tristana for the siege too with the explosive shot, and the rocket grab unfortunately hits the minions. So, and look at this. This is the 1-4 split push. You're gonna lose towers eventually, and then might even lose your inhibitor. But they're gonna go try to take Dragon number 2. Is gonna provide them with more damage to structure, so that's gonna help them even better.
Even greater is that the minions are pushing to the side of Team Arbok in the middle lane, which means that all three lanes at the time were currently pushing.
Yeah, this is a very unfortunate thing though when you look at how strong this Mundo is right now, considering that Team Arbok can't even use their bans. So basically the whole entire pick and ban phase is in control by Team Sigh, where they can basically just dictate what they want to first pick every game. And it seems that it'll probably just be Mundo first pick every game. The only thing that you can do in response to something like that is that you can only just pick up whatever OPs that they use. So if they do go for the Mundo first pick next game, if they do lose this game, then they might want to look in picking up Lulu Morgana on their rotation.
Again, assuming Sprinkles would be okay with that. Playing the Morgana support.
Here's what you do. The strat is you do Lulu top and Morgana mid. That's how you do it.
Ooh, fancy. I like it. Still, Sprinkles cannot play either of those champions. anything in that type of champion category. But ladies and gentlemen, 14-5 is the score. 25 minutes almost on the clock. About a 45, about a 9,000 give or take gold lead on the side of Team Sigh as they continue to abuse their lead and continue to push the waves down and continue to apply pressure to the inhibitor turret. TS Lust, and currently TS Sloth just chilling around in the mid lane. We're going to be seeing that 1-3-1 come out once again. TS Sloth and TS Greed both have teleport, making this 1-3-1 even all the more powerful. Sprinkle trying to land that rocket grab only to meet the Black Shield Yellow GT Swag. An amazing name, mind you. I love it. But I'm interested to see how this 1-3-1 is going to play out. Team Sigh is not allowing anyone to leave the mid lane. It might just be a free inhibitor turret on the bottom right corner of the screen there for TS Sloth. We're going to have to see if he can hold off this alone brand or if he can hold off on his own.
Yeah, we have Lust trying to tank it, but one of the interesting things about the tower changes is that it's better for you to not have anyone tank the tower for the most part, just because the tower has so much resistances when minions aren't there, and as you can see, the minions are there, and the tower just falls in a couple of hits.
And there might be more where that came from, because TS Sloth is still in the bottom corner, basically unperturbed. Oh, TS Sloth are going to be hitting the rocket grab into the assault battery, the alley-oop dunk. Anyways, it seems making sure that Phoenix gets the kill credit.
Right, a little too close to comfort right there, where he underestimated how his survivability as Mundo. And there's a flash coming out from TS Greed too as he makes his great escape. But in response to that, they were able to take the bot inhibitor tower, and they can potentially go for the inhibitor, but they have the recalls coming out from the other members of the team as Sprinkles lands a rocket grab before the rocket jump finishes as he gets ignited in the wild growth, and the shields come out along for Whimsy, but the ignite ticks just too much. As Sprinkle's looking to do some more grabs with the Dark Binding for the disengage, as the rest of Team Sigh is going to look to run as best as they can, using the slows to their advantage with another grab out of a hop, and that is Greed going down. Sprinkles with the really good rocket grab timing is getting people right out of their escape abilities.
I was actually about to comment on Sprinkle's lack of amazing accuracy in this game. He's been missing a lot. But that was a very, very powerful sequence that should surely help to turn things around for Team Arbok.
Well, I don't think TS Lust wants to be a little too close to this vein. This vein is Finny Edge, Static Shiv vein, so there's a lot of attack speed, a lot of solo build pros coming out, a lot of damage as well, and you have Baron going down really, really quickly from the damage output too, and it's TS Sloth takes out Sprinkles as the Baron is going down, but they're committing to this Baron, but who will get it? And that is Team Sigh getting the Baron as SNR flashes out of the pit. Dark Binding lands onto Kagoi, and the fight keeps going on behind him as TS Lust splashes forward, hits the cleaver, but TS Wrath and TS Greed with the home guards as he gets the slows off, and it looks like it's going to be the death of Kagoi as another cleaver lands and just executes him to death, and this is going to be the bottom inhibitor for Team Sigh right here. They have their Tristana alive. This is going to be really free for them. We have death timers of 20 and 45 seconds coming out. Sprinkles will be alive, but I don't think him and Toons and SNR will be able to defend this in the next couple of seconds right here.
SNR does not have flash, so he does need to be careful to get in getting too close, because if he does get hooked like that, he is going to die 100%.
That was a very questionable Baron call, especially considering that, as you mentioned before, we have double teleports on this side of Team Sigh. If you try to start Baron, as all they have to do is just ward in, and then they have their top and mid just coming right in on those teleports.
29 minutes on the clock. The Baron power play is practically over. Still about an 8,500 gold lead in the favor of Team Sigh. Definitely putting themselves in front of their opponents here and trying to make the most gold as possible. Try to make the earliest win as possible. Definitely keeping the business and just doing what they got to do.
But yeah, it's very important to talk about just the amount of mobility that's being abused in this game when it comes to just movement speed slows and movement speed boosts. It's very good for catching out people right now, especially with the spooky ghost on the side of Morgana. As you take Dragon number 3, and as mentioned before, when it comes to mobility, this is Dragon 3, so that's just movement speed boost across the whole entire team, so that's going to be very helpful in terms of just kiting or chasing down people.
Definitely a warm welcome.
Then we have Raph getting the red buff, so now there is that exposed bottom lane as it has the super minion pressure, so they have Baron buffs still too, so all they have to do is just siege the Tristana range and just get the either mid or top lane, or just have the 1-4 split, because they could just have Gnar split push and just walk to mid if something even happens. Because Kagoi doesn't even have his teleport up either, but we have Sprinkles looking to try to get a grab, but he does get slowed by a cleaver. But he still looked for the grab regardless, and he goes for the Mundo, but I don't think that's the target he really wanted, as Sprinkles goes down and Mundo just regens everything back up with the shield helping him against the Brand DOT damage, and Darkbite lands onto Brand with Kagoi, trying to do his best to protect SNR.
SNR definitely going to be forced to be back there as Team Sigh is looking to get their siege on. Actually, no, now they're going to be walking and rotating up to the top lane, deciding that the top lane inhibitor would be a better position to attack from.
Yeah, I think what it was is that they just didn't have the wave with them on mid lane, so they just wanted to get the top lane wave. I think that's what it was.
Definitely very proactive, and they know that with Sprinkles down for another 5 seconds, they can make an attempt onto this turret. Kagoi, though,
oh, the explosive shot damage ticking onto the tower as Kagoi falls, and it might be Phoenix Wright's turn next, as the Mega Gnar ulti knocks him right into the inhibitor as Toons tries to make his way out. The Brand Cataclysm bounces around to the targets, but it's just not enough damage as TSLS taking an entire Nexus tower, and he goes down, but the SNR follows afterwards with they're looking to end the game right here as they use the explosive shot, take one tower, bring Tristana to the next one. She's protected by Lulu. They can't do anything to kill Tristana right now. Has Morgana as well. Toons doing whatever he can to defend the Nexus, but he goes down. Just too much damage in this 4v2 situation. Game 1 going over to Team Sigh.
That is going to be a GG for Team Sigh as the GG gets called, and there the Nexus gets destroyed. And well played to Team Sigh, earning the first